The average person checks their phone within 3 minutes of waking up. Within those 3 minutes, cortisol spikes. Anxiety activates. The peaceful brain chemistry of sleep gets hijacked by notifications designed to trigger a reaction. And we wonder why we feel exhausted before the day even starts. But what if there was another way? What if ancient Buddhist monks, who understood the mind long before we had smartphones, already knew exactly how to protect morning peace? Today, I'm sharing 5 simple practices that create a buffer between sleep and the digital storm. They take just minutes. They cost nothing. And they can transform not just your mornings, but your sleep, your focus, and your entire relationship with calm. Ready? Let's walk this path together. Part 1: The Breath Before Brows Rule, your sacred first moments of morning mindfulness. Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. Thich Nhat Hanh. Here is the first truth I want to offer you. Your first breath of the day is more powerful than any notification on your phone. Think about what happens in most homes across America every morning. The alarm sounds. Eyes barely open. And within seconds, sometimes before feet even touch the floor, a hand reaches for that glowing screen on the nightstand. Emails flood in. News headlines scream for attention. Social media shows you everything you're missing, everything you should worry about, everything that demands your immediate reaction. And just like that, the peace is gone. The day has been hijacked before it even began. But here's what the ancient Buddhist masters understood, and what modern neuroscience now confirms: how you begin shapes everything that follows. The Buddha taught that the mind is like water. When you first wake up, your mind is like a still pond at dawn, calm, clear, reflecting the sky perfectly. But the moment you throw stones into that pond, the stone of an angry email, the stone of disturbing news, the stone of social comparison, ripples spread everywhere, and that clarity is lost. Your phone is a stone-throwing machine, and your peaceful morning pond doesn't stand a chance against it. The breath before brows rule is beautifully simple. Before you touch any screen, take 12 conscious breaths. Why 12? Because 12 breaths, taken slowly and deliberately, take about 2 minutes. That's enough time to shift your nervous system from reactive mode to responsive mode. It's enough time to tell your body, we are safe. There is no emergency. We can begin this day with intention. There's also something happening on a biological level that most people don't realize. When you sleep, your body produces melatonin, that beautiful hormone that helps you rest and repair. When you immediately expose yourself to the blue light of screens upon waking, you're sending a jarring signal to your brain. You're disrupting your body's natural wake-up process and triggering stress hormones before you've even gotten out of bed. But when you choose breath over brows, you allow your body to wake up naturally, gently, in its own time. Here's your practice. Tomorrow morning, when you first become aware that you're awake, let your hand rest on your chest instead of reaching for your phone. Feel your heartbeat beneath your palm. That steady rhythm has been keeping you alive, breath after breath, for all these years. Now breathe in slowly through your nose, counting to 4. Feel your belly rise like a gentle wave. Hold gently for a count of 4. Not straining, just pausing. Release through your mouth for a count of 6. That longer exhale is your secret weapon. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you that knows how to rest, how to digest, how to heal. Do this 12 times. As you breathe, you might silently say to yourself, breathing in, I am calm. Breathing out, I am ready. This isn't wasted time. These are the most important 2 minutes of your day. You're planting seeds of peace that will bloom throughout everything that follows. The screens will still be there when you're done. The emails will wait. The world will keep spinning. But you will have claimed your morning as your own. Part 2, Mindful Morning Journaling, Emptying the Cup for Clarity and Calm. Empty your cup so that it may be filled. Buddhist proverb. Here is another truth that might surprise you. Your mind wakes up carrying yesterday's unfinished business. Have you ever noticed this? You open your eyes, and before you've even said, "Good morning," to anyone, your brain is already presenting you with a list of worries, tasks, fears, and regrets. Did I pay that bill? What if the test results are bad? I shouldn't have said that to my daughter. The car is making that noise again. It's as if your mind has been working the night shift, organizing anxieties into neat little piles, ready to dump them on you the moment consciousness returns. The Buddha called this the monkey mind, that restless, chattering voice that swings from branch to branch, thought to thought, never settling, never quiet. It's exhausting, isn't it? But here's what I've learned, and what I want to share with you. You don't have to carry all of that weight inside your head. There's a simple practice that can change everything. It's called a brain dump, and it takes just 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes can release hours of mental tension. The practice works like this. Keep a simple notebook and pen by your bed. Not your phone with a notes app, a physical notebook with actual paper. There's something about the act of writing by hand that engages different parts of your brain, something more grounding and therapeutic than typing ever could be. When you wake up, after your 12 breaths, take 5 minutes to write down everything that's swirling in your mind. Don't organize it. Don't judge it. Don't try to make it neat or sensible or grammatically correct. Just let it pour out like water from a pitcher. Write the big worries and the small ones. Write the tasks you need to do and the feelings you don't understand. Write the random thoughts that seem to come from nowhere. This practice is not about solving problems. It's about releasing the pressure of carrying them all in your mind at once. Think of it like this. Imagine you're trying to carry 20 grocery bags from your car to your house. Your arms are full, things are slipping, you're stressed about dropping something fragile. That's what it's like when you hold all your thoughts and worries inside your head. But what if you could set all those bags down on the counter first? Suddenly, you can see what you actually have. You can put things away one at a time, in order, calmly. That's what journaling does for your mind. The Buddha taught about the importance of releasing attachment, not just to material things, but to our thoughts themselves. He reminded us that thoughts are not facts. They are visitors passing through the guest house of our minds. When you journal in the morning, you're acknowledging those visitors. You're saying, I see you. I hear you. You don't need to keep shouting. I've written you down, and I will tend to you when I'm ready. Here's your gentle practice. Set a timer for just 5 minutes. No more than that. Write without stopping. Don't lift your pen from the paper. If you don't know what to write, write, I don't know what to write right now, but I'm going to keep going anyway. Don't read back what you've written. Don't judge it. Don't edit it. At the end of 5 minutes, close the notebook. Take one deep breath. And notice how much lighter you feel. Notice how much space has opened up in your mind. You haven't solved anything yet. The problems are still there. But they're on paper now, not circling endlessly in your head. And that makes all the difference. You've emptied your cup. Now there's room for peace to flow in. If these words are resonating with you, if you're feeling even a small sense of hope or calm, I invite you to subscribe to Buddha Coha. We create videos like this every week, simple, practical wisdom for people who want more peace in their lives. Hit that subscribe button, and let's walk this path together. Part 3, Strategic Silence, the Buddhist art of simply being present. Silence is the language of God, all else is poor translation. Rumi. Now I want to invite you into something that might feel uncomfortable at first. I want to invite you into silence. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of stillness. Think about your typical morning. From the moment you wake up, there's noise. The alarm. The television. The podcast in the shower. Music while you dress. News on the radio during breakfast. We fill every moment with sound. We've become so accustomed to constant input that silence feels strange, even threatening. But here's what the Buddha knew, and what we've forgotten. In silence, we find ourselves. Strategic silence means intentionally creating moments of just being before the world demands your doing. This isn't meditation in the formal sense. You don't need to sit in lotus position or achieve some special state. It's simply a few minutes of quiet presence. No music. No podcasts. No television. No audiobooks. Just you, just your breath, just the present moment. Why does this matter? When we constantly fill our minds with external input, we never give our thoughts a chance to settle. It's like stirring a pot of soup that's been simmering. The ingredients never have a chance to blend, to develop flavor, to become something nourishing. Your mind needs settling time, too. The Buddha spoke of this as sati, mindfulness, awareness, presence. He taught that beneath all the mental chatter, beneath all the worries and plans and regrets, there is a place of profound stillness within each of us. That stillness doesn't need to be created. It's always there. It just needs to be uncovered. Think of a snow globe. When we rush through life, when we fill every moment with stimulation, we're constantly shaking that globe. The water is cloudy, the flakes are swirling, and we can't see the beautiful scene inside. But when we set the snow globe down and give it just a few minutes of stillness, the flakes settle, the water clears, and suddenly we can see what was always there. Your morning silence is like setting down the snow globe. There's another benefit, too, one that affects your sleep that night. When you begin your day in stillness, you're training your nervous system to remember that calm is possible. You're creating a reference point for peace. Later, when stress arises, as it always does, your body will remember, oh yes, I know peace. I experienced it this morning. I can return there. This creates what scientists call a relaxation response, and that response will be easier to access when you're trying to fall asleep at night. Here's your practice. Find a comfortable seat. Your bed, a chair, a cushion on the floor, wherever feels right. Set a timer for just 3 minutes. Only 3. Close your eyes, or soften your gaze toward the floor. Don't try to think about anything. That's impossible. Don't try to meditate correctly. There's no such thing. Simply notice. Notice the sounds around you, the hum of the refrigerator, birds outside, distant traffic. Notice the feeling of air on your skin. Notice the weight of your body in the chair. Notice your breath moving in and out. When thoughts come, and they will come, acknowledge them gently, like nodding to a passing stranger on the street, and return to noticing. That's the whole practice. Noticing. Being present. Being alive. 3 minutes might not seem like much. But those 3 minutes of silence are seeds. And seeds, as the Buddha taught, grow into forests. Part 4. Intentional Digital Delay, Protecting Your Morning Peace from Dopamine Storms. The root of suffering is attachment. The Buddha. Let me share something with you about how your brain works, something that explains why reaching for your phone feels so irresistible, and why that urge is worth resisting. Deep in your brain, there's a chemical called dopamine. You've probably heard of it. It's often called the pleasure chemical. But that's not quite accurate. Dopamine is really about anticipation. It's the chemical of wanting, not having. It's what makes you reach for another cookie, check your phone one more time, scroll just a little further. Our ancestors needed dopamine. When they saw berries on a bush, dopamine motivated them to walk over and pick them. When they heard a rustle in the grass that might be prey, dopamine gave them the energy to hunt. But now, in 2026, technology companies have learned to exploit this ancient system. Every notification is designed to trigger dopamine. Every like gives you a tiny hit. Every new message creates anticipation. The scroll is endless because your dopamine response never quite gets satisfied. It always wants more. When you reach for your phone first thing in the morning, you're triggering a dopamine cascade that puts your brain in a state of constant craving. You're starting your day in wanting mode, which is exhausting and never satisfying. The Buddha didn't use the word dopamine, but he understood this pattern perfectly. He called it tanha, the thirst that is never quenched, the craving that always wants more. He taught that this endless grasping is the root of our suffering. Intentional digital delay is the practice of choosing when you will first interact with your devices. Instead of your phone dictating the terms of your morning, you set the terms. Here's what this might look like in practice. You decide, I will not check my phone until I've been awake for 30 minutes. Or, I will not look at email until after I've eaten breakfast. Or, I will not open social media until noon. Whatever boundary feels sustainable for you, the important thing is that you are making a conscious choice, rather than being pulled by the invisible strings of addiction. Think of your morning peace like a garden you've cultivated with care. In this garden grow flowers of calm, herbs of clarity, trees of patience. It's a sacred space. Every notification is like someone asking to enter your garden, and many of them are bringing weeds. The news brings the weed of anxiety. Something terrible happened. You should worry. Social media brings the weed of comparison. Look how much better everyone else's life is. Email brings the weed of obligation. You should be doing something. You're falling behind. If you let everyone into your garden the moment you wake up, before you've had a chance to tend it yourself, it will be overrun with weeds before breakfast. But if you keep the gate closed for just a little while, if you protect those first peaceful hours, you give your own peace a chance to grow strong. Here's your practice. Tonight, before you sleep, set a clear intention. Tomorrow morning, I will wait 30 minutes, until after breakfast, until 9 a.m., before checking my phone. Put your phone in another room, or at least across the bedroom, far enough that you'd have to get up and walk to reach it. When you wake up, do your breathing, your journaling, your silence first. When you finally do check your phone, notice how different it feels. You're approaching it from a place of groundedness, not desperation. You're in control. The world didn't end because you waited. The emails are still there. Nothing exploded. But you are calmer. You are centered. You are you, not a reactive machine. And that changes everything that follows. Part 5. Reclaiming attention, training the mind for deep focus and meaningful connection. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. The Buddha. Here is perhaps the most important truth I will share with you today. Your attention is your life. Whatever you pay attention to becomes your experience of being alive. If you pay attention to worries, your life feels worried. If you pay attention to beauty, your life feels beautiful. The problem is that modern life is designed to fragment our attention. We've been trained to check, to scroll, to multitask, to never fully commit our attention to any one thing. The average person in 2026 checks their phone over 150 times per day. That's once every 6 minutes during waking hours. Each check interrupts whatever you were thinking or doing. Each check trains your brain to expect interruption. The result? We've lost the ability to focus deeply. We struggle to read a book for more than a few pages. We can't sit through a movie without checking our phones. We half listen in conversations, our minds already drifting to the next thing. This fragmentation makes us anxious, dissatisfied, and strangely exhausted even when we haven't done anything meaningful. But here's the beautiful truth: attention is a skill. It can be trained. Just as you can strengthen a muscle through exercise, you can strengthen your ability to focus through practice. The Buddha was essentially a teacher of attention. The entire practice of meditation is really attention training, learning to notice when the mind has wandered and gently bringing it back, over and over, without judgment. Every time you bring your attention back, you're doing a mental rep, you're building focus the same way you'd build physical strength. And the morning is the perfect time to practice. When you start your day with focused attention, on your breath, on your journaling, on the simple experience of being present, you're training your brain for the rest of the day. You're creating new neural pathways that say, we can focus. We can be present. We can give our full attention to what matters. Over time, this practice ripples outward into everything you do. You'll find yourself more present in conversations, really listening instead of just waiting to speak. You'll find yourself able to read again, a whole chapter without distraction. You'll notice things you used to miss, the way morning light filters through your curtains, the smell of your coffee, the sound of your own heartbeat. You'll feel less rushed, even when you're busy. More satisfied, even when things aren't perfect. More alive, even in ordinary moments. Here's your practice. Choose one simple morning activity to do with complete, undivided attention. Maybe it's making your bed. Really making it, feeling the fabric, smoothing the wrinkles, noticing the colors and textures. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water. Really drinking it, feeling the coolness, the weight of the glass in your hand, the sensation of hydration spreading through your body. Maybe it's looking out your window for 1 full minute. Really looking, not planning your day, not worrying, just seeing the world outside. Whatever you choose, do it as if it's the most important thing in the universe. Because in that moment, it is. In that moment, it's your whole life. The Buddha taught that enlightenment isn't found in some far-off future. It's found right here, in this moment, in this breath, in this simple act of paying attention. Your morning coffee can be a meditation. Your shower can be a prayer. Your first breath can be a homecoming. It all depends on where you place your attention. Closing, your new morning begins tomorrow. My friend, we've walked a meaningful path together today. We've learned the breath before brows rule, those 12 conscious breaths that create a buffer between sleep and the demands of the world. We've explored morning journaling, the practice of emptying your mental cup so there's room for clarity and peace. We've sat in strategic silence, discovering that stillness is not empty but full of everything that matters. We've discussed intentional digital delay, protecting your sacred morning garden from the weeds of constant stimulation. And we've talked about reclaiming attention, training your mind for the deep focus that makes life meaningful. Each practice is small. None takes more than a few minutes. But together, they create a morning that belongs to you, a morning that sets the tone for a calmer, more intentional life. There's a Buddhist teaching about the lotus flower. The lotus grows in muddy water, in swamps, in places that seem dark and difficult. Yet from that mud, it rises each morning, clean and beautiful, opening its petals to receive the sun. You are that lotus. Your life may have mud in it. All lives do. But every morning, you have the chance to rise fresh and new, to open yourself to peace, to begin again. The practices I've shared today are tools for rising. They are simple, ancient, and they work. But here's what matters most: you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do all 5 practices every day. You don't have to do them perfectly. You just have to begin. Start with 12 breaths tomorrow morning. Just that. See how it feels. And if you forget, if habit takes over and you grab your phone before remembering, be gentle with yourself. Set the phone down. Take those breaths anyway. Every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is another chance. This is the gift of being alive. If this video has touched something in you, I warmly invite you to subscribe to Buddha Coha. We create these videos for people like you, people who believe that peace is possible, that ancient wisdom still matters, that mornings can be sacred. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly videos on mindfulness, Buddhist wisdom, and intentional living. Share this video with someone who needs a gentler start to their mornings. Leave a comment below telling me, which of these 5 practices will you try first? I read every comment and love hearing from you. Remember, the world will always have noise. You can cultivate silence. The world will always have urgency. You can practice patience. The world will always demand your attention. You can choose where to give it. Tomorrow morning, when you wake in that soft space between dreams and day, remember, you have a choice. Choose breath. Choose peace. Choose presence. Choose to wake up, not just from sleep, but to the beauty of being alive. Thank you for being here with me today. May your mornings be peaceful, your days be meaningful, and your heart be at ease. Until next time, from Buddha Coha. Breathe gently. Walk softly. Live fully. Namaste.